everyone, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel and welcome to my latest episode of my revisited Star Trek Deep Space Nine series. Yes, I haven't seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine for over a decade. I thought it was time to revisit it, and I'm doing this as and when I watch an episode. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about the next episode, or the latest episode for me, and that is DAX. So let's get into it.
Edge of the universe, the unknown is your enemy.
DAX! Full station security alert.
We have a hostage situation.
But what you fear isn't always on the outside.
Fugitive DAX is charged with the murder of my father.
Sometimes it's right on board.
Talk to me before I have to let these people take you.
Tell me what you want. They're boarding a ship.
Engage tractor beam.
On the next exciting episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Okay, yeah, so an episode called DAX. So going into this, what do you expect? An episode about DAX, a DAX-centric episode. Funnily enough, DAX has got very little to do in this episode, even though the story revolves around her. We start off with Dax having a meal with Dr. Julian Bashir, and she's off to bed, and he wants to escort her to her quarters. He's doing his best to hit on her, like he does in good old-fashioned Dr. Bashir way. Good old Julian Bashir. Anyway, she declines, but she's been spied on by these fellas, and what happens is there's a kidnap attempt on her, and Dr. Bashir decides to actually go and see her because she has said no, but nothing stopping him going to see her to her quarters. And he uncovers it. He's there as it's happening. Only he gets knocked out, and then these individuals are trying to get Dax off of the station. But Dr. Bashir awakes, alerts Cisco and what's her face, Kira Nerys, Nana Visitor's character, and they lock the station down and all this palaver, and they manage to stop her from being escorted off of the station, kidnapped off of the station. They do get away in a ship, but they put it back with a tractor beam and all that, and they bring her off. And it turns out that these people are actually after her for a crime that was committed. They want to they don't want to extradite her. They've attempted to take her from the station, but they do have extradition papers for her to be taken away. Only this causes a problem, because even though this alien race does have an extradition treaty in place with Starfleet, they don't with the Bajoran government. And technically, Deep Space Nine is a Bajoran space station, just run by the Federation, so it comes under Bajoran law. Now, Dax is accused of being involved in a murder, but this is a murder that has taken place before the Dax symbiote has joined Jadzia, and it was when they were with Curzon Dax, the host that came prior to Jadzia. And this opens up a kind of a hearing, so to speak, led by a high-up judge on Bajor, who has to decide whether the DAX goes off and this extradition treaty is enforced, or whether it doesn't happen. Anyway, the episode itself offers a lot of great character moments, but ultimately this is almost like an exposition heavy episode, cleverly given to you in story form. This is a great introduction to the race, the Trill race. Through this story concept, they managed to tell you everything you need to know about the Trills as a race, about how the species work, how the joining works, how they come together and the minds merge and all this sort of stuff. And this is all done, all delivered through other characters during this trial. And Dax herself is there, sat silent for the majority of this episode. My throat is really bad. I wonder if I'm coming down with something. Anyway, I apologise. That's what you get me, the real thing. So, I forgot where I was now. So, yeah, Terry Farrell herself has very little to do in this episode, even though the title suggests that it is about her, and it is about her, only she's not there. It's not really well done. It's a very intriguing episode. I thought to myself going into this one, I'm not going to enjoy this episode as much. I'm going to be a bit, but it was well written. It was cleverly written. There's a great scene between Cisco and the fella who's taking away Dax, Gregory Itzin's character, where they're having a back and forth, and Gregory Itzin talks about adding salt to water, and how it becomes one, but then Cisco turns it around back saying, yeah, but then if you boil the water, you can separate the salt again, and all this sort of thing, making it two. It was just a great moment. Some of the acting towards the beginning of the episode was a bit when you got these people, Gregory Itzin, his character, Alejandro, watching through these bars, Jadzia Dax, and has a bit of a back and forth with this other fella or this other individual. Not so great, but Avery Brooks, his performance is on, it's fantastic in it. Julian Bashir, the character has some great moments. You see how intellectual he is when he gets to deliver some stuff. Odo gets to go off station and do his bit, a little bit of investigating, and all in all, it all comes together at the end, and we come to find out that the geezer that the host Dax had apparently killed was actually having an affair with the host Dax's wife, and he was actually a traitor to his own people, and he was the one who'd actually inadvertently got himself killed by sending a message to the rebels that and helping them, and all this sort of stuff while this civil war was going on their planet. Anyway, so he was essentially the victim of his own crime, so to speak. He was responsible for his own murder, the guy who was murdered, and it wasn't Dax at all. But yes, a fantastic episode. I tell you, I'm really enjoying it. I truly am. I love this Star Trek series. Love it. Anyway, so I'm going to be back again in a few days for the next episode. I believe the next episode's called The Passenger, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for watching. Sorry about the throat. Maybe I'm all talked out today, because this is actually my third review today that I filmed in one day. Anyway. I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.